My brothers and sisters, a proclamation from the Holy Gospel according to John. May the word of God be in our mind, upon our lips, and our hearts. Jesus said to his disciples, I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that does not bear fruit, and every one that does he prunes so that it bears more fruit. You are already pruned because of the word that I spoke to you. Remain in me as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own unless it remains in the vine, so neither can you unless you remain in me. I am the vine, and you are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me will be thrown out like a branch and wither. People will gather them and throw them into the fire, and they will be burned. If you remain in me, and my word remains in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. By this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit and become my disciples. The gospel, the good news of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
There was a volunteer who regularly made phone calls on a telephone hotline to check on shut-ins throughout the community. The volunteer had called this particular shut-in several times before and knew that she had and was still dealing with a chronic illness. In the call, she learned that the woman desperately needed a new coat. But because she was on a very tight budget, she didn't have the money to be able to buy a new coat, so she would just have to continue to wear her threadbare coat through the winter. Wanting to help the volunteer out so badly, she decided that she would withdraw $200 from her own checking account, which she put in a note and wrote "for a new coat" and did not sign it and put it in the mail to the lady. The next time the volunteer called the woman, the lady was so ecstatic that she said, "You'll never guess what happened. Somebody sent me the money to buy a new coat. $200 they sent." The volunteer asked, "Did you get a new coat?" She says, "Oh yeah, I got a beautiful brand new coat that I've been able to wear." She said, "But the thing is, it only cost $150. And so she said, "I'm going to put the $50 in the mail to you and to your organization, to all the callers who call in and that you talk to, so that somebody else can also have the same generous gift that I've had." I'm sure the lady could have used the money, don't you think? Being on a tight budget, she could have used the $50. But she came to realize something much, much greater. She came to realize and came to see what vine she was truly connected to. I don't know, maybe she knew that the woman who called her on the telephone was the one who sent her the $200. I don't know. But she did know that there was something much greater that she was connected to, a true vine. And because she realized that she was connected to this true vine, out of gratitude for what someone else had done for her, she wanted to give back in return so that somebody else could have the same gift. For Jesus, we hear this connection on the night before he died, as he told his disciples, "I am the vine, and you are the branches. If you remain in me, and I remain in you, you will bear much fruit." The message that Jesus gave to the disciples was clear, and it's the same message that he gives to you and to I. That when we remain connected to Jesus, the true vine, that we will bear much, much fruit. Maybe you're a little bit like me, and you've come to realize over this past year who it is that you're really, really connected to. The virus, the death, or the struggle, or a sickness of a loved one, the election, the political unrest that we see in our country, the violence that we've seen on our streets, has left us knowing with greater certainty than ever that we need a connection, that we need a vine to be connected to, and that when we're connected to Jesus Christ, the true vine, that we can bear fruit and that we can bear it more abundantly. You know, I've talked to many over the past few months who have told me that if there's any silver lining in this past year, it's been the feeling of reconnection that we've had with our families, and the feeling of reconnection that we've even had and experienced personally with God. Some ways that this connection's come about is just through a simple thing like sitting down together at your kitchen table and having supper together as a family, and not having to run off to a ball game or to a meeting, or even to be able to sit down together on an evening and have a movie night, or to play games together and connect with one another. The willingness even to talk to God, to pray more fervently to God, to read the scriptures, as I've heard that people are doing, sitting down, praying and reading the scriptures and feeling God's power in our life. Even the ability just to sit down with another and just to have a true conversation with them and to get to know them more deeply and more fervently together. This connection brings us a fullness of life. It feels right. It feels good. It feels holy, doesn't it? This Sunday, I want to give us the opportunity to connect more deeply, or to even reconnect with Jesus, the true vine. As we're coming back to church together from this pandemic, you know, each Sunday more and more of us coming back, and it feels like a new beginning. It feels like a new opportunity for us to grow and to strengthen the church, the body of Christ. So to help in this effort, in your pew, you'll find this simple ministry card. If you could, everybody could just take that card in hand. Maybe pass those down to your brothers and sisters who are sitting with you in pew today. And on it, you'll see some of the ways that we have here at Christ the King for us to connect anew with Jesus. I want to give you a moment to make that connection now. If you could, take the pencil that's there, and if we could all do this, just write your name on the card and your phone and your email on it. As maybe your phone number has changed, your email address has changed, we want to make sure that we've got your information so that we can stay connected to you. Then if you could, look through the ministries. There are ministries that we could use your help with now as we come back together and connect again and reconnect with one another. You know, if you can serve at Mass or outside on our grounds or with the teaching of our Catholic faith. You know, some of the worship ministries that we have available now, with lectors, if you could lecture, even if you're doing it now, just to go ahead and check that box. Serving, Mark's a great server, but I know that he'd like to have some help, serving as well. Hospitality and welcome ministry, music ministry. On the back side of the card, you'll find something, the collection counter. Rosary leader, we're praying the rosary every Sunday before the liturgy in all of our liturgies, 30 minutes before Mass begins. It's something we can all do, is to pray and to help lead others in prayer. Some of the service ministries that we have, grass mowing. We have 20 acres of land here that needs to be cared for and mowed. We've got 4 mowers now in our mowing team, but we could always use a couple more folks who'd be willing to mow. When you came onto their grounds this morning, they look really nice, don't they? They look really nice, and we want to be proud of what we have here at Christ the King. So help us together to build that spirit of cooperation and connectedness together. It's your church. I'm just here to lead it. we can connect together to lift the church up even further in what we do together. Church cleaners. Every Saturday or Friday, the church is clean. We have a beautiful, clean church. It's one of the cleanest buildings in the community. You know, if you could help us in that, connecting more deeply to that. General maintenance, if you can assist us with maintaining our facilities. Even our live stream. This Mass now is being live streamed throughout the community, around our diocese, throughout the state of Kentucky, and around the world. We are going out here from Christ the King. Just a quick story is, a couple of weeks ago, I got a letter from a family who live in Lexington who, beginning with the pandemic, started watching us here at Christ the King. And since the beginning of the pandemic until now, they're still watching. They sent us a $1,000 check to say thank you. You know, it goes a long way in the mission of Christ. And so if you can help with our live stream, if you can help with our digital team, if you can help with our website that we do, James Chamberlain, James do a great job with the website. But James and Lindsay and all of those who work on our media team could certainly use your help and your care. So if you've got that ability, that gift, I don't, but others do have that. We want to call that forward so that you can help us to connect. Our education ministries, youth minister, youth catechist, our RCA and adult formation team. Throughout the pandemic, we've continued to share our faith and grow as a church, and we want to continue that growth together. So if you could fill that out, and then when the tithe is being collected and you place your card, if you could place your card in the tithe basket as it comes around, just want to say thanks. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for helping to make our community here at Christ the King rich in faith so that we can connect with another. You know, and just in closing, like the woman who was helped with a new winter coat realized that she was connected to and wanted to give back so that somebody else could have that connection. And that the true vine that she was connected to is the vine we're connected to is Jesus. You know, we may not fully understand Jesus. We may not understand how he brings us life, but in the mystery of faith, we believe that when we remain in him and he remains in us, that we can bear fruit and we can bear it abundantly. I now invite the church